But that's amazing. And when I look at your whole approach to journalism, I mean, just like how you kind of broke it down now, like your parents' journey feeding into your journey, there's something old and something new. So there's kind of like this eternal tension in journalism, let's say, I see, between informing and entertaining, right? So is it about like revealing relevant information even when it's inconvenient to those in power? So like speaking truth to power, or is it about, sensationalism, grabbing headlines, grabbing attention? And even major news outlets struggle with this, arguably have always struggled with this, and often fall into clickbait or the filter bubbles to kind of drive attention. You have that formal education in journalism from Syracuse, and I know you take your journalistic ethics very seriously. I mean, what can you tell us about the importance of journalistic integrity? I know it seems a little bit old-fashioned to talk about this in today's day and age, especially like it shouldn't be, though, especially in sports and entertainment, right? It's like, who cares? Like it's all about the flash and the glitter and the fun and the sort of the social media attention and so forth. But you've certainly, I feel, paid a price for that principle that you hold on to. So how did this idea of journalistic ethics and journalistic integrity play out for you specifically, especially in this sort of tough guy sport with kind of big egos in MMA?
So I was a very, like I said, impressionable young man, and I looked up to a lot of people, and I loved learning about the history of media and journalism. And one of my heroes is a man named Walter Cronkite. I wasn't alive when Walter Cronkite was who he was. He was the anchor of the CBS Evening News, but I've read a lot about him, and I've watched a lot of clips on him, and I've really from afar studied him. And what has always blown me away by Walter Cronkite and by his relationship with the country was he was known as the most trusted man in America. That was his title. People would refer to him as Uncle Walter. Everyone believed him. When he said something, you believed it. You did not question it. And I think that's the greatest compliment that you can give to any broadcaster. Not that's like, he got that one story wrong. I don't know. Let's just wait to see. No, when people tell me, you say it, I believe it, there's no greater compliment out there. And that really stuck with me. And so, you
By the way, Ariel, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I can show you 100 chats, okay? Like we've got people breaking like all the fake news. I'm known to be the one saying, did Ariel say it? I swear to God.
Thank you.
And this is
that
like before, this is like for years. It's been like, don't talk to me until Ariel says it.
I appreciate that.
A lot of UFC fans think that.
Thank
this
you.
day. Yeah,
I appreciate that very much, and that's why I take it so personally when someone tries to question what I say. For example, this just happened. I reported that the event in Saudi Arabia, the UFC event in Saudi Arabia, was being moved because the powers that be in Saudi Arabia did not like the quality of the card that was being presented. Dana White said that was a lie, that was BS. Not a lie. They ended up announcing that it was moving. He's refuting the reason, and it's an ego thing, and I get that. He has to protect it. He has to protect the brand. But I don't care if someone says, like, I suck as a broadcaster, or I'm boring, or I'm a nerd, or this and that. But I hate when my integrity and my ethics and my accuracy is questioned, because I really take a lot of pride in attempting to bat 1,000, if you get the reference. So, looking up to the likes of Walter Cronkite and the relationship that he had with people meant a lot to me. The first class that I ever took at Syracuse Journalism School was journalism ethics. That was the first class. And I can't tell you about a lot of the classes I took. They've all kind of, fizzled out of my brain. But I remember that one. And I remember learning about things that I never even thought of, like, oh, you can't take gifts. Oh, you can't have conflict of interest. You can't work for the people that you cover. Like all these things that maybe some other people out there don't have the, they don't have the sort of knowledge in their back pocket because they didn't go through this type of training or education that really stuck with me. And so I've tried to hold on to these principles throughout my life. Am I perfect? Have I messed up? Yes, I have messed up. And, I don't think there's any human being on the planet that isn't perfect. But the hope is that you learn, you live, you learn. And trust me, with the way media is going and the way, the world is going, it's almost once, twice, 3 times a week. And it's happened, I think 4 times this week. I kid you not, where it's entities, meaning promotions, meaning, non-outlets, if you will, who are asking me to come do things, very fun things for them. But I say right away, don't even waste your time. I cannot get paid by a promotion. I cannot get paid by an entity that I'm supposed to cover, because that is a conflict of interest. And I don't know how many people would say that, to be honest. And I have lost out on a lot of money. But I need to be able to say what I want to say, cover how I want to cover. And most importantly, I need the audience to believe that I'm not in anyone's pocket. That when I tell you something good, bad, or indifferent, I'm telling it to you because that's what I believe. I hate clickbait. I hate sensationalism media, big exclamation point, wow, shocked face, all that nonsense. I hope, and maybe that affects the views or whatever. I just hope that you come to me to learn, to have fun, to be entertained. And ultimately what I think I do, look, I'm not covering, the war in the Middle East. I'm not covering the war in Ukraine. I'm not covering life or death things. I know what I'm doing. Actually, Howard Cosell himself said that the sports department in any newsroom is the toy department. We do the fun thing. And so I want to be the escape for people. Ultimately, that's what I want to be. More so than like Mr. Journalist. I want to be the escape. When I hear from the guy who delivers our UPS packages, like, I listened to you for 4 hours on my daily route and you let my mind go elsewhere, and I can't wait for Saturday. I can't wait for Cheeto Vera versus, Sean O'Malley. And what a great interview with this guy. It's like, oh, I mean, is there anything better than that? That someone is just having kind of like a ho-hum day, or they're looking to pass the time, or they're having a tough time, and they come to me to escape with all the things out there on this planet that you can listen to or watch to escape. So that's where like entertainment and info and journalism and fun all kind of blend together. But I'm not sacrificing my ethics or my accuracy or my credentials just to get a few clicks. Couldn't give a shit about any of that. Excuse me for swearing, but like I could not care. It is not worth it in the end. And that's very important. That's something that I always try to stick to.